because the microphone wasn't fucking working, I gotta do 15 minutes of a goddamn fucking intro all over again. I am pissed. I am pissed. I am pissed. Oh, by the way, this is off the script. If you didn't really understand that already. I downloaded Skype because I was on Matt Men podcast with Andrew Zarian today. I immediately deleted Skype off my computer because I fucking hate it. And it completely fucked up my computer, man. Slowing my shit down, making my microphone clip in sound. I recorded 15 minutes of an intro for this podcast. No sound came out because my microphone wasn't really synced up to my OBS. So now I gotta do it all over. Great. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. This is Off the Script, episode 270, part number 2, for your Saturday, April 20th, 2019. Praying I could get through this intro in one fucking piece without making a fuck up. Please. Just like I don't want to see The Shield and their final chapter again for the fucking 19th time. Please. Anyway, we got news. Normally I start these things off with a cold open. And believe it or not, there's no news to sit here and talk about and dissect for 30 minutes. Fuck me, I guess. I hate starting the podcast off in a very bland, boring, vanilla way. So there's no news outside the Sasha Banks news. Nobody knows what's going on with that. We covered it extensively for the last week and a half. I don't want to talk about Sasha Banks anymore because I just don't know. We don't know. I did my best in getting some sort of sense out there with the entire Sasha Banks situation. But as you can see by the thumbnail, we got The Shield to talk about today. Roman and Seth and that other guy who's going to AEW. Their final chapter is happening on Sunday night. I wonder what you're not going to be watching when Game of Thrones is on. And you cannot believe, I don't believe it, WWE booked their opponents to be the same fucking opponents that you've seen over the last 9 months. It's supposed to be a refresh, right? It's supposed to be a new era. And here we are with the same match in a disgusting way for these guys to go out. Not that I give a shit, but I am not surprised by WWE's creative booking here. So if you watch the product for 9 months, or over the last 9 months, A, I'm sure you're sick and disgusted just like I am, but you will know who their opponents are just by thinking back to what WWE did with The Shield over the last 9 months. We'll go over that. Apparently WWE has uploaded a video to their YouTube channel documenting what they want to see at WrestleMania 36. Ahoy! The pirate-esque themed WrestleMania that is WrestleMania 36. I gotta admit, I like the logo. I like the pirate flag. I have a fondness for pirates. Fun fact, my favorite Lego growing up was indeed the pirates. I collected all of them. I loved every fucking one of them, man. Useless information here on Off the Script, but I figured it would go with the theme of the whole Pirates WrestleMania-esque flag logo that they got going on. But they uploaded a video documenting the 5 things that they want to see at WrestleMania. Now, after watching this, I would urge WWE to upload a 5 things we don't want to see at WrestleMania 36. The top of my list would be Roman Reigns. In fact, I don't want to see him on television, period. That's just the way I feel. And for those people who want to see him on television for whatever reason, I urge you to go get checked out immediately. And for those people who are kind of in the gray zone, they're undecided on what they want to do with Roman Reigns, it's okay to boo him. It's okay to boo him. Okay? It's not that bad anymore. We'll talk about that as well. WWE splitting up Andrade and Charlotte Flair. If you didn't know that they were a couple, I'm sorry to break your heart, but you never had a chance anyway. I don't know why you would choose Charlotte Flair over anybody else on the roster anyway. There's a lot more attractive females on the WWE roster. So, we'll go over that as well. WWE trying to split up Andrade, Cien Almas, and Charlotte Flair. Is that a real thing? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Also, WWE with the Superstar shakeup, how they kept everything a secret from all the talents moving from Raw to SmackDown and SmackDown to Raw. Update on Nakamura and his contract status. Xavier Woods was irritated by the WWE Superstar shakeup. I got news on Alexander Wolfe, Insanity, everybody Insanity, Killian Dane. They're posting their goodbyes. Alexander Wolfe wants to leave WWE. He could find a home in NXT UK. We'll talk about that. And WWE Superstars might have figured out a new tactic in requesting their release. We'll go over that as well right here on the podcast, man. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I would really appreciate it. JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. Follow me on both. It would make me a very happy goon. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. It's completely optional, and it's the only way to get exclusive content not available on YouTube. A lot of audio goes up on Patreon with the Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, all the extra off the scripts that I do with the minor stories that I upload during the week. So if you guys love the audio version and would find that to be a little bit easier for you to listen, it's all on the Patreon page, man. Thank you guys so much for supporting me on the Patreon page. JD's Elite. I love this little graphic that Salrex made me, man. All you goons there photographed. Now you are a part of Off the Script for the foreseeable future. Your mugs are right there, man. JD's Elite, one of the top-selling shirts in the YWC. That is the YouTube wrestling community. Become one of my elite members. Link is down below. Bonfire.com is the link down in the description below. I got a shout out. Actually, I don't have my email set up here. Actually, let me type this out because I get all email notifications of you guys ordering the shirts, and I want to shout you guys out. There were 3 of you that bought t-shirts within the last day or so. Actually, another one just came through. I got to thank Josh, literally, at 2:03 p.m. I got to thank Josh. I got to thank Matthew. I got to thank, who else we got here? Cody. And I got to thank Randy. Thank you guys, man, so very much for ordering your JD's Elite and becoming a part of the JD Army here on Off the Script, man. Thank you guys so very much. If you guys want to get yours, link is down below. Bonfire.com in the description of this very video. If you missed anything, that's social media. We went over that already. Man, I'm out of it. I'm completely out of it this weekend. If you missed anything that I uploaded on the channel, Sasha Banks in part 1, was she promised a match in Saudi Arabia to break down that barrier? First time ever that women's match, women would compete in Saudi Arabia. Now, I don't really know. I went over it. I don't believe the story is true, but we go over it in part 1. Go check that out if you guys are interested in that. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, covering the shakeup. NXT, Kairi Sane says goodbye to NXT. And Luke Harper, is he AEW bound with more moves for the Superstar shakeup due this weekend, man? Everything you need, or everything you need to catch up on, is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner. That little eye. Click it, drop it down. Everything you need is right there. Experience the rest of the content right here on the channel. Man, the Viking experience, I'm telling you, it is so god-awful. So god-awful. Still, I am bothered by it to this very hour. Unbelievable. JD, get over it. No, I'm not going to get over it. Hanson and Rowe are their names, and the War Raiders is what they will be called by on this channel. I'm sure they appreciate it. Man, I want to hit a milestone for the Double or Nothing weekend that is approaching. We got about 6 weeks left to go. A little bit less than 6 weeks. Salrex made this nice graphic, Double or Nothing off the script weekend. Going to be happening, whether I'm in Vegas or not. Right now, I am not planning to go to Vegas. I'd like to. And I'd like to hit a milestone before we get there, man. I'd like to hit 110,000 subscribers. Now, Salrex generously made the milestone 115,000. I don't think that's possible for Double or Nothing weekend, but I'd like to hit 110,000 before we get to Double or Nothing weekend, man, for AEW. I'd love to go out to Vegas. I really would. I really would. I've been to Vegas once before, many years ago. And I'd like to go out there and just experience the nightlife. I didn't really get a good sense of it when I was there the first time. I felt very rushed. I want to find some great places to eat, some great places to drink. I want to experience the craft beer out there. I want to visit Chum Lee and Rick at the pawn shop and give my condolences to the old man. I want to see that as a tourist attraction because I'm a big fan of the show. Watched it very extensively years ago. I kind of got myself off of Pawn Stars, but it's on from time to time, and I catch up on the older episodes when they're on. But I want to go out there, and I want to have a meet and greet. I know I want to be a part of Double or Nothing Weekend. I want to be a part of the StarCast event, but they just never got back to me, you know? They never got back to me. I emailed them, and nobody gets back to me. I don't know what the hell's going on. I remember when I was out there, I was with a bunch of people I know in real life, and one in particular, he was a clown-looking motherfucker, man. His name was Nose. That's what we'll refer to him by. That was his nickname, legitimately. Nose or Mole. He had this big fucking mole on his face. We always told him to go get it removed. He never listened to us. I don't know. He said it was distinguished. It was nasty. He had like hair growing out of it. It was like its own fucking entity on his nose. I remember we were walking by. He's smoking a fucking cigarette. He's flinging his arms back and forth. And he's fucking got a lit cigarette in his hand. And fuck me for walking behind him. He's flinging his arms back and forth like he's a fucking robot. He ends up burning me with the fucking cigarette because he's careless about where he's going. This is the type of individual I went on vacation with. You can imagine the fucking cretin and what he looks like. Anyway, we don't talk anymore, so I could say what he doesn't even fucking know I exist anymore, so fuck him. Anyway, we were going out. We were going out one weekend there in Vegas, the fucking 4 days that we were there. And I bought this nice dress shirt, right? This nice dress shirt, it's black. It's got these distinguished, stripes in it. Really nice dress shirt. Got my jeans and my shoes on. We're getting ready to go to the Bellagio. We're at my boy's hotel room. He's got a suite at the Bellagio. It was his birthday weekend. That's why we were out there. And I walk into the suite. And I'm sitting down. I'm having a beverage. Waiting for everybody to get ready. This fucking guy, Nose, walks in after we had already got there. And he walks in. There was no previous, stint with him in the afternoon. He was in his hotel room. Yeah, I'm going to get changed. I'll meet you over there. I'll let you know when I'm there. I am there. I did not see this guy all afternoon. I didn't know what he was wearing. I didn't know what he had, bought to be dressed up for the evening. He walks in wearing, and I shit you not, the same shirt that I was wearing. And I'm like, bro, you got to go back to the hotel room. You got to go change. You got to go put on something different. Oh, I don't have anything different. Who the fuck told you to go buy the same shirt that I was wearing? I thought I was being trolled. So we went out at some club downstairs at the Bellagio. All I remember with this club was that it was like a $75 cover charge. I get in there. There's a huge waterfall in the middle of this club. I don't know the name of it. I go up to the fucking bartender, $26 for a Long Island iced tea. I'm like, this night fucking blows. Let me go to Coyote Ugly and have a fucking $5 Stella, please. So, needless to say, that was the one thing that stood out for my experience in Las Vegas. I'd like to go back and make some new memories out there without some fucking cretin with a huge fucking mole on his face that is ready to attack me. There's your fucking story. Maybe I should just make a fucking series about these fucked up stories that I have. Would you guys like that? Anyway, I'd like to go out there. So, if I can get out there, StarCast, reach out to me, motherfucker. I'd like to cover your event in front of 100,000 fucking subs. You fucking clowns. Anyway, let's hit the milestone. 110,000 subscribers, man, please. I would really appreciate it. What else we got, man, before we get into the fucking news? Let me talk about Harry's. Harrys.com/script. Now, just like the why in JD, why do you want to go to Vegas? Or why do you want to cover StarCast? Because I want to cover the biggest independent show of all time. That's why. Why do you shave with Harry's? I'll tell you why, man. Harry's and their founders were tired of paying for razors that were overpriced and overdesigned. They knew a great shave, and believe me, it's a great shave. I love the closeness and the smoothness and the comfortable glide of the blade on my skin. I make it sound good, don't I? I know. Anyway, they knew a great shave didn't come from gimmicks like vibrating heads and flex balls or handles that look like spaceships. Tactics that the leading brands have used to raise prices for decades. They fixed all that by combining a simple, clean design with quality, durable blades at a fair price. They also bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 95 years, and they've received over 20,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google alone. Their replacement cartridges are just $2 each. That is half the price of a Gillette Fusion Pro Shield, and all Harry's products, all Harry's blades come with a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they will give you a full refund. $13 trial set. You get the following: a razor handle. Choice of color is up to you. Orange, the evergreen, or the navy blue. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade. Rich lathering shave gel bottle. I believe it's 2 ounces. It smells fantastic. It feels great on your skin. And a travel blade cover as well. If you're a man on the go, if you're staying at your girl's house and you need to shave before you go out for a night on the town, if you're a man of business and needs to travel for work, or if you're a regular goon like me who likes it to look pretty on the bathroom sink, so it looks great when everybody that you have over goes into the bathroom and you see all your Harry's products laid out nicely on your bathroom sink, man. It looks great. Travel blade cover as well. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set by going to harrys.com/script. Again, harrys.com/script. Redeem your offer and let them know that JD sent you to help support Off the Script. Man, it was just brought to my attention, and I did not see this story last night. Apparently, this was making the rounds last night in regards to the Road Dogg, Jesse James. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, not Jesse James. Road Dogg. Now, we all know that he removed himself from his creative writing position on SmackDown Live. Now I'm reading, this was reported on April 18th, that Road Dogg is taking an extended break from the WWE. Road Dogg was the co-head writer of SmackDown Live, as we all know, until he got frustrated with the old man. Long hours, thoughts, and creative plans that were brought to the table only to be scrapped because Vince McMahon said, fuck it, I'm going to rewrite the show day of, wasting everybody's time. This was somewhat of a surprise as it occurred right after his induction in the WWE Hall of Fame as a member of D-Generation X. PW Insider and Mike Johnson are reporting that Road Dogg is taking an extended break from the company. He will use this time to assess the situation and see where he may fit in the future. Hopefully taking this break so he and WWE can assess the situation, will do what Road Dogg wants it to do. He could be used in any number of ways, from live events to a producer, an agent, or an on-air talent as a commentator. In the meantime, Bryan James, a.k.a. Road Dogg, will remain with the company, but he's just not going to be around for a little bit. That's a shame, because he has given a lot to the WWE, and going back to what we talked about last Friday, and following up with it here today, I am still in the corner of Road Dogg Jesse James, man. And Bryan James. I am still in his corner. I can't even fathom what the man has gone through to be in the position of creative writer, to have to deal with the bullshit that Vince McMahon daily brings forth to all his creative writers. Now, looking back at it, I really wonder if everything that they did at the Hall of Fame was even worth it. Like, they made a fool of themselves. They really did. If you want to go back and watch the Hall of Fame, the cut-up, edited version of the Hall of Fame, they took out all the fun stuff in the Hall of Fame. But was it really worth it? Because you look at everybody else there. Billy Gunn is working for All Elite Wrestling. X-Pac isn't even with the company, so he can do whatever they want. They can't reprimand him or fire him. He's his own entity. He's got his own podcast. Like I said, Billy Gunn's working with AEW. Shawn Michaels, nobody's going to fire Shawn Michaels. He works for Triple H down in NXT. They're not going to do, they're not going to do anything to him. They're not going to reprimand him in any way. Triple H, what are you going to fire your own son-in-law? You can get back at your son-in-law in other ways, which I'm sure Vince McMahon is doing, but you'll never hear about any of that. Or what, with the Road Dogg here, you could fire him, you could reprimand him, you could demote him, you could fucking treat him like a piece of shit, because you're working directly with him on SmackDown Live. That was Vince McMahon's easy out. And I honestly think that with whatever was said in that promo, that Hall of Fame speech that they did, WrestleMania weekend, I honestly think that Vince McMahon is taking it out on Road Dogg. And this is something that was Honestly, if you want to look at it, avoidable. Avoidable. They didn't need to mention AEW. I don't know why Triple H mentioned AEW. Maybe he did it as a rib. Because he knew it would get under the skin of everybody at corporate, including Vince McMahon. I don't know. I don't know why Triple H, if you really want to look at it and dissect it, why would Triple H make fun of AEW when he knew first and foremost what the Young Bucks wanted to do? Two men who you negotiated with to come on into the WWE and understand why they didn't sign because of his venture with AEW. Why would you make fun of that? Why would you make fun of that? If anybody wants the spirit of competition, I firmly believe Triple H would. If anybody would want to work with the talent that they have over there, Triple H would. Vince McMahon is stuck in his own time warp where, you got to look at them and look at them as competition. Yeah, they're competition, but you don't got to fucking treat them like the pissant company that you think they are. Triple H might have had internal reasons why he mentioned AEW. He don't give a fuck. One of his best friends is working for the company. So who really gives a shit at the end of the day? I feel like some of it was done on purpose. Now, Road Dogg, he works directly with Vince McMahon. This could have all been avoided. Maybe they weren't really thinking. Underneath all the 90s cheesy fucking puns and jokes and dick jokes and looking back at what they did that was funny then and not funny now, could it have all been avoided? For the Road Dogg. I really don't get it. Yeah, they got upset at R.D. Evans writing Bret Hart's speech where he put into the speech, because they were reading off of teleprompters now, that he put into his speech, did R.D. Evans, for Bret Hart's speech, to thank Vince McMahon. Now, obviously, with the reports coming out about that, he stepped down. Either way you look at it, he felt like his job was in jeopardy anyway, so before they got to him and fired him, he just walked out and quit. And apparently, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, R.D. Evans told Vince McMahon before he quit, "I hope you learned a lesson here today." I don't know what the fuck that meant, but clearly Vince McMahon will learn no lessons. He's going to do what he wants. He'll never learn a fucking lesson. But with the Road Dogg, if they all knew collectively that the one rule of the Hall of Fame, I guess two rules if you want to look at it, don't go over your time, don't extend and, banter when you can say what you need to say and cut it. You don't have to overwhelm the crowd with garbage. Don't go long. Don't, overstep your boundaries as far as time goes. And with the one golden rule of the Hall of Fame, don't mention Vince McMahon. And they knew that going in. They made fun of it. And looking at who was in the ring and who Vince McMahon can target, some are untouchable. Some don't work for the company. And there you got Road Dogg who's just standing there. Oh, I could get back at him. He was a part of it. He went along with it. I'm going to treat this guy like shit. I'm going to make his fucking job a nightmare until he either steps down or if he wants to stay with the company, I'll demote him in the worst possible way and give him the most minimal role to where I don't have to fucking deal with him. And then I'll fire him when I'm ready. This extended break is something that we should all take a look at because of what Road Dogg has done and as far as his services to the company. It is kind of fucked up to be, in that line of fire from Vince McMahon. It's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, it's weird and bizarre, but if there's one rule in the Hall of Fame, don't mention, we can look at it and make fun of it all we want, but it's still Vince McMahon's rule. If that was the only rule for the Hall of Fame, don't mention Vince McMahon, and they go out and mention Vince McMahon, and on top of that, mention AEW, giving them fucking promotion, Wrestlemania weekend, who's Vince McMahon going to take his anger out on? Poor old Bryan James. But we don't know what this means. Extended break, did he low-key just quit? Did he low-key get fired and they're covering it up? I don't think Vince wants Road Dogg to go over to AEW. I don't know. I hope for the best. I hope that Bryan James takes a break and clears his head, remains with the company, and attacks whatever position they give him to the best of his abilities. That's all I could say about this. But it is fucked up, and it could have all been avoided. Honestly, it all could have been avoided for the entirety of that speech at the Hall of Fame. I just don't understand why they went about it. And none of it came off as funny. None of it came off as funny at all. Anyway, Speaking of writers, WWE is losing even more writers. Now, R.D. Evans quit during the Hall of Fame. We know this. We talked about it a few times. He says, I hope you learned something. Vince will learn nothing. Fightful Select reports, this is Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful.com. Fightful Select reports that even more WWE writers have left the company. One name that was made specific was Dave Schilling, who just joined the company a few short weeks ago. Schilling recently posted that he is now looking for work after a dream job with Vince McMahon's company not too long ago. It is reported that even more names have left as well on top of Dave Schilling, so this means that there could be a big shakeup backstage as well as on screen in the WWE. He tweets out, and I quote Dave Schilling, to reiterate, looking for a new job, features and columns, TV writing, content marketing, open to a variety of things. Email address is in my Twitter bio. DMs are open. So after a few weeks, he decides to quit. Man, it must be a terrible work environment in the WWE if this was your dream job and realized that it was nothing more than a nightmare. Again, I ask you, and for everybody that wants to fucking bash me, oh, JD, here's your chance. There's an opening on WWE's job site for a creative writer. And then people, when I tell them I would never take a position there, they still don't believe me. Oh, JD would suck the corporate cock to get into WWE. Why would I? Why would I want to work underneath this fucking psychopath? Why would you guys even recommend that to me? Do you fucking hate me that much? Do you want me to lose all my hair? Do you want me to grow full gray in my beard? Do you want me to fucking just drop dead there in Stamford, Connecticut due to stress working for this fucking lunatic? Then there's no off the script. Anyway, I don't know who would take this job, really. I really don't understand who the fuck would take this job as creative writer in WWE, man. It really sounds like it's a fucking nightmare. Moving on. We got news on WWE teasing The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 36. Oh, joy. Oh, joy. Let me cancel my already booked hotel room. WrestleMania 35 just closed up shop. You can still buy their merchandise on WWE Shop, which, by the way, I'm affiliated with. If you guys want to save money, you could use my link. I'll post it down below in the description if you guys want to save on title belts and figures and shirts. I don't really promote that a lot or often on the channel. I should really do that. I'm affiliated with WWE Shop. Anything you order, I get a slight commission from, so support the channel. Now, WWE just uploaded 5 things that we want to see at WrestleMania 36. One stood out on that list, which was, of course, Roman Reigns. Which, by the way, you could boo him. Shh, it's okay. Roman Reigns versus The Rock. April 5th, 2020, we'll see Tampa host the Show of Shows. I hate that fucking name. The Showcase of the Immortals. The Show of Shows. The granddaddy of them all. Stop. Stop. It's WrestleMania. Okay? None of what you describe WrestleMania as describes WrestleMania realistically. Now, WWE lists what they want to see, including the Great One versus the Big Dog. You know, one thing, I did not mention this, and I am very intrigued by Tom Phillips now on commentary with Roman Reigns on SmackDown Live. Is he going to take over the reins of the Big Dog? You know, Michael Cole can't say the Big Dog on Monday Night Raw anymore. Is Tom Phillips going to take over for that on SmackDown Live? I pray to God not. We should all tweet Tom Phillips and be like, please don't imitate Michael Cole in introducing Roman Reigns as the Big Dog. Now it's time to get ready for the Big Dog. I'll like fucking vomit in my mouth. Anyway. Dwayne Johnson and Roman Reigns could realistically be a match. We all know WWE is right now getting a massive hard-on just at the thought of it. They also teased something that I'd like to see happen, and probably the only realistic option on this entire list, John Cena versus the Velveteen Dream. Now, of course, that match could only happen if John Cena isn't, you know, in a movie shoot or filming a movie or doing something Hollywood-related, which, as we move on from John Cena, it's going to become a little bit more less likely we see him at WrestleMania. Matt Riddle, which today is his favorite day of the year, I'm assuming, right? It's 420. Him and RVD should get together today. Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar was also teased in a big way. They brought up how Riddle has stated he wants to retire Brock Lesnar and proposed that WrestleMania 36 could be the time for that to actually happen, or at least give Riddle an opportunity to face the Beast Incarnate. I'd like to see that happen. I don't know if WWE is going to call it Matt Riddle next year, but if Lesnar is still around in a couple of years, I'd definitely like to see that happen. They also mentioned the Horsewomen 8-woman tag at next year's WrestleMania. Of course, Ronda Rousey right now is out trying to make a baby with Travis Browne, but Sasha Banks right now also is potentially walking away from the WWE. We may never see that match ever, and I hope we don't. And right now, next year, even if it's a possibility next year, I don't think it is right with Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. They are absolutely nowhere near where they need to be for that match to be as good as it should be. Now, the last match they listed didn't include an opponent. They also mentioned Balor, which he moved to SmackDown Live, which, again, they posted this on Friday, and it doesn't make any sense because Balor has already been announced for SmackDown Live. They mentioned Balor facing whoever the Universal Champion is to get his Universal Championship back, and they mentioned his shoulder surgery and the fact that he had to relinquish the title, and he missed out on getting that title back. Balor is on SmackDown Live, so I don't know how that is even going to be a possibility. Either way you look at it, we got a list. Now, all they need to do is make a list of the things we don't want to see at WrestleMania, which is a McMahon taking up a spot on the card in a Triple H obligatory fucking WrestleMania match, and any mention or match of Roman Reigns. Those are 3 things that I'd love to see. Come up with 2 more. Come up with 2 more. 5 things we don't want to see at WrestleMania. Maybe it not being 8 hours long. Maybe a 5th one could be Michael Cole. We could come up with our own list. Let me know down below. Anyway, speaking of Roman Reigns, The Shield, and their final chapter is airing live on the WWE Network this Sunday. Yippee. I'm sure you won't be watching it if you're a Game of Thrones fan. And even if you aren't a Game of Thrones fan, I don't know why you would waste your fucking Sunday evening on this. WWE tweets out, breaking, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins will team up for a very special event. The Shield's Last Chapter, streaming live this Sunday, April 21st at 9:30 p.m. on the WWE Network. Now, they have announced that their opponents will be Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron fucking Corbin. Yeah! I can tell you right now what I will not be watching on Sunday night. Now, Seth Rollins commented on this, and he says, and I quote, I'm pretty stoked about this weekend taking the black one more time with my boys in my own backyard. We've had a lot of lasts lately. Yeah, one too many. I know, but I promise this really is the end for a while. Hashtag WWE St. Louis, WWE Springfield, WWE Moline. Hashtag Shield's final chapter. Now, it was reported that Vince McMahon does own the rights to the Shield, even though Ambrose is on his way out. He could put any 3 superstars and recreate the Shield, put some flak jackets on them, give them some nice new fancy theme music, and call them the Hounds of Justice. But I don't think anybody wants to see that after we've seen enough final chapters written in the Shield book. Now, I want you guys to understand something. And they even got some funny new merchandise, too, that says The Last Stand, with all three of them doing the fist pump. Now, I want you all to understand that I was right in everything I said about the Shield. If you don't agree with me, I really don't care. I really don't care whatsoever at all. Now, every single time the Shield is mentioned, they find some fucking way to make money off of it. And that's all it's become. The Shield's reunion has been nothing more than a money grab, and nobody realizes it. Roman Reigns coming back from cancer, announcing he's in remission. They make that fancy new shirt. The shirt was on sale before the fucking guy even came out to announce that he was in remission. Then they got a new shirt for their match at Fastlane, which was the last time ever. And now here we are with another new shirt called The Final Chapter, their last stand. How much more money are you going to make off these fucking guys with this bullshit? Every single time you've put the Shield together, it has become less and less and less important. It is downright disgusting to a point where I don't give a shit. It's actually ruining Seth Rollins in the process. Dean Ambrose is on his way out. Good. The best career move for this guy is to go to AEW. And I hope he goes to AEW because I want to see all you fucking people who shit on AEW for being nothing more than a t-shirt company. I want to see you cry when your boy goes over and shakes Cody's hand and becomes a main event talent. Are they going to be a t-shirt company then? Now, you'll probably shut up because I was right. That's the best career move that man could make right now. He stays in this. He's doing the opposite of everything he has a dislike for. Because he's in WWE right now. Look at what they're doing. They're making him a fucking joke. Shield this, shield that. Money grab here, money grab there. And they get a percentage of the pie on the t-shirts, the merchandise. But this is all they're saying Dean Ambrose is good for. Shield reunion here, Shield reunion there. Go to AEW and make yourself a main event guy, wrestling the top fucking talent in the world. You don't need this shit. They don't value you. They never valued Dean Ambrose. You were always a third wheel. Arn Anderson said, look, these three guys, nothing more than a football player and 2 indie marks. There you go. And WWE still doesn't think too highly of you anyway. WWE fucked up everything that could have been special about the Shield. I'm not saying the Shield wasn't special. In fact, many, many years ago, 2014, we got done talking about Luke Harper. And one of Luke Harper's greatest accomplishments in WWE is really giving us a sense of fucking epicness with that Shield feud. The Shield, honestly, back in the day, they held Monday Night Raw on their back. A lot of those times, you know, when Monday Night Raw was in the fucking dumps, the Shield made things exciting. That's when they were cool. That's when we legitimately loved what these guys were doing. They weren't shoved down your throat. They weren't really put on a pedestal. WWE ruined all that. They took what was cool, they made it uncool, and that's what WWE does. They make everything uncool. That's exactly why they took the Viking Experience and renamed them Ivar and Eric, because they are stuck in their own fucking bubble. They don't know what's cool anymore. How could you take the War Raiders and change them to the Viking fucking Experience? Look what they did with the Shield. How many opportunities did they have to bring the Shield back and really make it matter? No, but they brought them back for McIntyre and Corbin and Lashley. They brought them back for fucking Kane and The Bar and The Miz and Braun Strowman. Garbage. Garbage. WWE had the opportunity to have an invasion of their own with AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. WWE had the opportunity to turn Finn Balor heel and align him with the club. They didn't do it. WWE had the opportunity with the Undisputed Era in NXT for that to be a reason to reform the Shield. They don't go about it. And now we'll never see it. At least not right now. Every time the Shield got together, it was for marketing reasons. It was forced. It was an agenda. And it was a way to make money off of, oh, look, we're taking the most popular stable in WWE and we're going to put them back on television because that's what we think people want. Meanwhile, it's not. Because it doesn't feel special. They don't have any sense of special anymore. This is fucking pathetic. Lashley, Corbin, and McIntyre. Last 9 months, nothing has changed. How do you think Dean Ambrose feels? If I'm Dean, goodbye. Booking my flight right down to Jacksonville after this fucking show is over. God awful. What a fucking pathetic way to go out. And then people are going to eat this up because they don't know any better. They don't know any better. Shame on you. Shame on you. Moving on here. Let's talk about something a little bit more important than this fucking Shield garbage. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan apparently is dealing with an undisclosed injury, an injury that is closely guarded to the WWE chest. Daniel Bryan did not walk out of WrestleMania as the WWE champion after his match with Kofi Kingston. Obviously, Kofi's the champion. They're going on without Daniel Bryan right now. And everybody wondered if Daniel Bryan was going to come back and challenge Kofi Kingston for a rematch at the WWE Championship. Bryan has not been on SmackDown Live. He was not featured during the shakeup. And Bryan is reportedly dealing with an injury, and internally, those who are in the know are keeping the nature of this injury closely guarded. Therefore, there might not be any word on his injury status until they make an official announcement. Hopefully, Daniel Bryan isn't suffering from a repeat of concussion issues that cost him 2 years of his career, because another flare-up in that regard could very well cost him the remainder of his in-ring career. Now, WWE has sent out new live event ads for the upcoming shows, and Daniel Bryan is not included in any of them. Bryan was scheduled for rematches against Kofi Kingston, but those matches have been changed to Kingston versus Elias. Great. All I know is that there was a lot of talk coming out of WrestleMania that Bryan was injured, but nothing really substantial came out of those reports. Now, the company has kept a tight lid on the injury, and Bryan has not said anything to anyone. We don't know what it is. He could be hurt. He could not be hurt. Maybe Brie Bella is pregnant again. I don't know. I don't know. We don't need to speculate on this, because all I need to do and all I want you guys to do is pray for the best. Because Bryan has absolutely been a breath of fresh air on SmackDown Live, and I would be very, very sad to see him come this far again with the character that he's developed and given us on TV that could be a monster heel for any of the babyfaces on this roster, which they so desperately need. I would hate to see that all go to waste because of another fucking concussion. Now, it's worth noting that WWE tends to stay away from the concussion-related issues until they want to bring it to the public. So they tend to stay silent with this type of issue. With that being said, nobody in the company has confirmed a concussion or any type of injury, but there is concern among wrestlers that this status for Bryan is because of how quiet the company has been. Now, due to his concussion history, Bryan actually undergoes tests, which was reported. He undergoes tests every month or after every match, every month. Those tests include simple math problems. Bryan is told to multiply 8 by 3 and then multiply that number by 3 and then divide it by 4. If he is not able to come up with the correct answer, then he is not cleared to wrestle. The concussion protocol for Bryan is much more intense than everyone else on the roster at this point. We might not find out about his injury unless WWE decides to fill us in on an official statement. I want to make you guys aware of what is going on with Daniel Bryan. If you did not know, or if you were worried about why he wasn't on TV, being that he's such an integral part of SmackDown Live, I don't know what else to add to this. All I hope is that he is okay, and my thoughts and prayers go out to Daniel Bryan. If he is indeed hurt, I hope it's not serious. I hope it's not concussion or head related, and I hope that we see him back on television, because this product needs him. He has given us a heel character that this company so desperately needs right now on television. And I would love to see what he can add to SmackDown Live after the shakeup. Thoughts and prayers go out to Daniel Bryan. I don't know what it is, but the fact that they're not talking is making people worry. So maybe they don't want to scare people, and they don't want to... Maybe it's a case of it really being bad, and they don't know really how to handle it right now, and they're coming up with a plan to attack this and move forward from it if it is really that bad. I hope it's not. But the fact that they're keeping everything secret is not making people, calm down. It's actually worrying people more and more as we don't hear about Daniel Bryan. Sheamus is also injured. He didn't appear on SmackDown Live, and his partner Cesaro did make an appearance on SmackDown Live. This led fans to speculate why Sheamus wasn't on the show either, because they are a tag team. Turns out that Sheamus is dealing with an unknown injury, and according to PWInsider.com, as of this writing, no other details were provided on the exact injury or how long he'll be out of action. In the main event, Cesaro teamed with Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura in a losing effort to the WWE Champion Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and the Big O, Kevin Owens. 6-man tag. Bland, boring, same old shit. Sheamus was most recently in action, and he competed in a 6-man headliner along with Cesaro and Drew McIntyre, where they lost to the New Day. So there you go. Sheamus, I don't know what his injury is. It's an unknown injury. I know that he was dealing with spinal stenosis, or it was rumored that he was dealing with some spinal stenosis. I hope it's not bad for him either. So we'll see what happens with that, and I wish him a speedy recovery as well. Speaking of Shinsuke Nakamura, he was recently mentioned in the news. Update on his contract status. Apparently, WWE made him a nice offer for him to stay because he did not leave the door open to signing with another company just a few months ago when he was asked during SummerSlam weekend. A fan on Twitter asked Dave Meltzer what Nakamura's status was with the company, and all Dave Meltzer said was staying. That was his only response. Hopefully WWE decides to put some steam behind Nakamura on SmackDown Live. Hopefully he gets freshened up. I'd like to see him possibly get a bigger role. I don't think that him and Rusev necessarily make a good team. I feel like they're going to keep them a team because they need teams on SmackDown Live and they're relying on them. But again, they're not really a tag team. I'd like to see Rusev do his own thing. I'd like to see Nakamura do his own thing. Maybe turn him back to a babyface and kind of start fresh. He got him to sign. He's staying with the company. I heard from people that I know that are in the know that some people in WWE laughed at how Nakamura was, I guess, being paid the money that he was being paid. And they don't value Nakamura, that it would be a waste of money to keep him around. But that's not WWE's mentality nowadays. They're keeping talent around because they don't want him to remain in the United States and go down to Jacksonville. They don't want him to do that. I believe Nakamura is living in Orlando. So if he's staying with the company and has interest in keeping his family here, they don't want him to think, well, if WWE's not going to pay me, I could go to Jacksonville and stay in the United States with my family and wrestle for people that actually give a shit about what I'm doing. WWE should really open their eyes and see what they got in Nakamura, because it's a fucking shame that they have not used this guy. And I find it funny, I reported on Wednesday how Nakamura says that the signing of Kushida to NXT is historic. I think Nakamura is undervaluing himself, because when Nakamura came in, Nakamura was the biggest Japanese signing that WWE ever had. And here we are, Nakamura's talking about Kushida being historic. How is it historic? Looking back at the career that you had in WWE, you see how they value the Japanese talent that they sign over from Japan and bring on into the WWE. How is it historic? Nakamura underselling himself and really kind of making it seem like it is historic, but it really isn't. Yeah, the Japanese talent, they value something that the WWE doesn't. They want to fight. They want competition. They love the spirit of competition. They want to challenge themselves. WWE don't give a shit about that. They want you for your name value alone. Nakamura is someone that still holds so much name value over in Japan. So I find it very odd and just weird how Nakamura is still valuable to New Japan. If he was to go over there, instant, they take him back in a heartbeat, put him right at the top of the fucking card. But he doesn't want to work that style anymore. I just find it weird how Nakamura is still their biggest signing, how WWE undervalues him, and he says Kushida is a historic signing. They're all going to end up the same way. Look at Asuka, look at Kushida, look at himself, look at Tozawa, right? Even though he's not that big of a name, WWE hasn't done anything with those guys. Or Asuka. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So Nakamura is staying with the WWE. I don't know when he signed a new deal, but his old deal expired in February, which likely means he signed a new deal sometime between February and now. So he's still with the company. Don't know how long for, but WWE is not giving out anything under 3 years. So Nakamura was up there in age, 38. They probably signed him to a 3-year deal. We'll see what happens if it's reported in the Observer in the coming months. Moving on, man. I want to talk about Audible. Audible is a huge sponsor of the show. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you guys are supportive of the show, I want you to take advantage of what Audible is offering you. audibletrial.com/offthescript. All you have to do is the following, man. Go to audibletrial.com/offthescript. Enter your billing information. You will not be billed whatsoever. Pick up your mobile device, whether you got an Android or an iPhone. Download the Audible app, and right then and there, after you enter your billing information, you will be on your way to browsing Audible for 30 days free. 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 Here's the best part. Upon signing up and getting 30 days free of Audible, they're going to give you a huge thank you in the form of one free audiobook of your choice. And the best part of it all, it only gets better, folks. If you feel that you signed up, you got the 30 days, you got the audiobook for free, if you feel that Audible's not for you, you can cancel at any time within that 30 days. You can cancel on day 1, you can cancel on day 30, and you get to keep your audiobook for free, and you will not be billed at all. Now, clearly, if you want to stay on, They'll charge you whatever they charge you, and you can browse away to your heart's content, man. Over 200,000 books to choose from, a lot of which are sports and wrestling related. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Great way to support me and Off the Script. Moving on with the podcast, man. I don't want to go all Keemstar on you. I don't want to go all TMZ on you. But we got real-life couples in WWE that were affected by the superstar shakeup. Or the lack thereof of a superstar shakeup, because it was fucking garbage. Everything that they did. There's a lot of things that WWE really did not make sense of. But there were real-life couples that were affected by the superstar shakeup. Now, one couple that is happy to be on the same brand as one another, and WWE clearly had them in mind here. They moved Raymond Rowe of the War Raiders over to Monday Night Raw with Hanson of the War Raiders. They moved the War Raiders to Monday Night Raw. And we all know that Sarah Logan is married to Raymond Rowe. Now, they did not move Sarah Logan over to SmackDown Live like they moved Liv Morgan because they had Sarah Logan in mind. They kept her on Raw with Ruby Riott. I don't know if the Riott Squad is still together or if they're going to be broken up and they're going their separate ways on the same brand. I don't know. We won't know until next week. But they kept them on the same brand. Now, Rollins and Becky. Becky is the holder of 2 championships, both for Raw and SmackDown. Becky is dating Seth Rollins. If you guys didn't know that, I'm sorry to burst your bubbles. You never had a shot anyway. Now, we know Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are a married couple. They're both on Raw. Lana and Rusev, they're on SmackDown. They weren't moved. We know Corey Graves is on both brands, so his relationship with Carmella was not affected at all either. We got the couple of... Who is it? Jey Uso and Naomi? Which Uso is she married to? I always forget. Either way you look at it, they're together as well. There's one couple that did not get so lucky. And a new budding relationship that you might not know is making the rounds. That is the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and Andrade Cien Almas. Andrade was drafted to Raw. Charlotte is remaining on SmackDown Live. Now, we don't know if WWE is trying to split them up. There was a report that WWE was trying to split them up in The Observer. The splitting of a couple by the office, says Meltzer, is usually the sign of wanting to break them up. But in the Andrade Flair situation, it does put Vega back on the same brand as Aleister Black. Andrade's business partner is Zelina Vega, who is married to Aleister Black, and they are both on Raw. WWE kept the other couples together. Jimmy Uso is the one who's married to Naomi. I'm sorry. I corrected myself before you go in the comments, which I'm pretty sure you're already down there after I fucked it up. Jimmy Uso and Naomi, Sarah Logan and Raymond Rowe. So WWE did not move Andrade and Flair to the same brand. Now, Buddy Murphy is on SmackDown Live, and Alexa Bliss is on Monday Night Raw. There's more room for her to fuck up and do what she needs to do to pull the political strings with Buddy Murphy away from Monday Night Raw. But nobody knows if they're still together because nobody really sees them take pictures, or they're not plastered all over social media, so we don't even know if they're a real couple anyway. But they were, at one point, an item. So you could see the budding relationships in WWE, but they did not move Andrade over with Charlotte Flair. Now, I don't know what that means. It could mean nothing. Maybe they felt Andrade would have a better shot at Monday Night Raw at succeeding. But if I'm Andrade, better get a ring on that finger, bro. You better get a ring on that finger so WWE could look at you and take this entire relationship as serious. Maybe WWE feels like it's nothing more than a fling. But you know, WWE is like the big bad parent. Charlotte Flair is their queen. So I guess they want Charlotte Flair with somebody that they approve of. Maybe they don't approve of Andrade. I don't know. But all I know is, listen, keep him together with Charlotte. If he's happy, then he's going to want to stay. You don't want him going anywhere else. If he's happy, that means only good things for you. Why would you want to upset your queen anyway if she's in love with Mr. Almas? Just leave them alone. I don't know why you even moved him to begin with, but I'm excited to see what he does on Monday Night Raw. They need a top-level heel. He definitely could be that top-level heel on Monday Night Raw. Speaking of the shakeup, WWE worked certain superstars before the shakeup to keep everything a secret. Now, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there are some bigger superstars that were told about their switches, like a Roman Reigns and an AJ Styles. They were told that they were switching, but WWE did not tell everybody else who needed to be switching from Raw to SmackDown or SmackDown to Raw. Now, what they did is, if they were on Monday Night Raw and they didn't get moved, they were telling everybody that they were needed in Montreal on Tuesday for promotional work. This was a means of keeping them in town for SmackDown Live without letting the cat out of the bag and actually telling them that they were needed for the legitimate SmackDown Live show. They were then told on Tuesday what was actually going on with their careers. Fans were able to do the math and figure out some of the bigger names that were expected to move from Raw to SmackDown and SmackDown to Raw. This was not difficult to do in some instances after the shakeup. However, it is also pretty interesting that WWE didn't even tell some of their superstars about this big change until the day of the announcement to make everything official. So there you go. There you go. They worked everybody. I don't mind. Listen, the only thing I'm worried about is the safety and the travel nightmares that could be for the superstars. I guess it should be none of my concern, but I feel bad when, you're not told where you need to be, and WWE's keeping everything hush-hush because they don't want the secret out of where the superstars are going for the sake of the dirt sheets. They don't want any of their secrets being revealed. I understand that WWE wants to keep the unpredictability of the shakeup, but you also got to keep in mind of your superstars. I guess, telling them that they were needed in Montreal for promotional work. How many times you're going to be able to go back into the fucking excuses bag and use that every single year you got a shakeup? They'll catch on eventually. I understand WWE wanting to keep everything secret, but in this day and age of social media, is it even worth it? Is it even worth it to keep shit like this secret? You might as well just look after your superstars and tell them where they need to be so they can make the proper travel arrangements. And better off, the writers. What about the writers? This is why the shows came off as a fucking chaotic mess. Nothing made sense. These shows were not exciting at all in a time when we should be excited about the rosters switching up and hitting the reset button. These shakeups need to go. The way that they do these shakeups, it's like me shaking this bottle of water. That's all it is. And wherever they land. I don't know why they just don't do the draft. Bring out the McMahon family and draft to Raw and SmackDown. Make it like a real... How many times I gotta fucking repeat myself? Make it like a real sports draft. I don't get it. WWE, I guess, doesn't have that creativity. Or they're just lazy. They work in certain superstars to keep everything secret. Yeah, some respect you got for the fucking talent. No wonder why Sasha Banks didn't want to fucking show up. She knew this shit was going to be a fucking mess. Give me a break. Yeah, WWE's got plans for Sasha Banks at Money in the Bank, for her to win Money in the Bank. Sure. You didn't know where anybody was moving until fucking Tuesday. Yet you want to give Sasha Banks and you got plans for Sasha Banks to win Money in the Bank. Yeah, right. Speaking of SmackDown Live, Lars Sullivan was moved to SmackDown Live for one reason and one reason only. And if you were listening to me during the week, you would have known what that reason was. It was noted on The Observer. I don't need Meltzer to figure this one out. A fucking idiot could have figured this one out. Sullivan was moved to SmackDown Live so he and Braun Strowman could be on separate brands. Now WWE has a monster on Raw and SmackDown respectively. So I guess it's going to be great when they face-to-face in the Survivor Series for Raw versus SmackDown. There you go. That'll end before it even starts right there with the excitement going right out the window. Sullivan didn't get a long time to introduce himself to the WWE fans before the shakeup, so many fans looked at him as, Therefore, it's very possible he was on Raw and SmackDown Live this week so he could get some extra exposure before finding a permanent home on SmackDown Live. Now, speaking of Lars Sullivan, WWE might have pulled a dangerous move from Lars Sullivan's arsenal. The diving headbutt is something that he's been using for a little bit now in NXT, and he used it for his first couple of outings on the main roster. Something that looks very impressive. Reminds me of Bam Bam Bigelow coming off that top rope with the diving headbutt. Diving headbutts have been limited in WWE for a while. They let Daniel Bryan do it for years, and he had to put it away because of his concussions. If you add in the fact that a lot of people contribute the move to Chris Benoit's CTE, then it really does make sense to move on from that particular move and stop letting superstars use it. Dave Meltzer mentioned on Wrestling Observer Radio that since Sullivan didn't do the diving headbutt on his assault on Rey Mysterio, and he didn't do it in any instance after that, then maybe they listened to the fans and critics for once and pulled that move from Sullivan's arsenal. He says, and I quote, "The key here is that he did not do the diving headbutt. So maybe after a week of people saying the guy's too big, he's going to end up hurting himself, and he's already got mental issues as it is, they pulled it. We'll have to see what he does moving on in the weeks to come if he doesn't do it at all." End quote. Now, only time will tell if WWE will keep Lars Sullivan from doing this dangerous maneuver, but it could have been just a one-week deal. Maybe he just breaks it out in the bigger matches that he does. Maybe they didn't get rid of it completely because it is it's something that he could easily replace. But, I mean, the sight of him jumping off the top rope halfway across the ring doing a flying headbutt, man, that's fucking impressive. That's a very, very nice sight to see for a guy that size and a guy that big. So hopefully it's one of those instances where they didn't take it completely away like they did with Ricochet. They're limiting his 630. They gave him a finishing move so that he doesn't do the 630 all the time. They're not going to replace it as a finishing move. They just don't want him to risk injury by doing it when he doesn't necessarily have to do it. So he could have something else in the meantime for regular TV to finish people off with. Same thing goes for Sullivan. Maybe, on the bigger shows, the bigger pay-per-views, he'll pull it out and it'll be special that he doesn't use it all the time. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they did not take it from Lars Sullivan completely. Moving on here, man. Let's talk about Alexander Wolfe. We talked about Luke Harper being moved, or asking for his release, rather. He wants to move on from WWE. Alexander Wolfe, also the same day that Harper put on social media that he wanted to ask for his release from WWE. And there's a reason why more and more people in the WWE are doing that, which we'll get into a second. Alexander Wolfe could be moved. Instead of being released, he could be moved to NXT UK. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter mentioned that the company confirmed Wolfe is not leaving. Therefore, Alexander Wolfe could be used in a different role under the WWE umbrella. It's being reported that there is talk of Alexander Wolfe going back to NXT as a singles competitor, but there could be another option in NXT UK for him. It is said that he could become a flagship guy on the European brand as well. We'll have to wait and see what happens next with Alexander Wolfe, but the apparent goodbye to WWE wasn't as definite as he had initially thought. Killian Dane, same thing goes for him. Eric Young was moved over to Monday Night Raw in the shakeup. Sanity was all but over because they didn't have a leader. Sanity was effectively split up during that announcement with Alexander Wolfe wanting to quit. Killian Dane, I don't know where he was going, but he actually made an announcement during all of this, and this is what he said. "Good luck at Eric Young. Good luck at WWE Wolfe. I'll miss you both terribly. Had the time of my life as part of Sanity. You are phenomenal in the ring and outside of it. Thanks to everyone who supported us." Sanity were a former staple in NXT Tag Team Champions, but it never really worked on the main roster. They had a great entrance, we all know. They just weren't booked correctly on the main roster, or WWE didn't realize what they had in Sanity, and the creative fucked them up. Now it looks like Killian Dane is posting his goodbye and good luck to his Sanity brothers, meaning that we don't know what is up with him either. I doubt he is used on SmackDown Live. He'll just be looked at as an afterthought. But if anybody moves to NXT UK or NXT in general, I would move Killian Dane back down to NXT. WWE really needs to have, an option in this shakeup where, Raw to SmackDown and SmackDown to Raw, but also NXT to Raw and SmackDown and Raw and SmackDown to NXT. There are guys on that roster who could benefit from a move down to NXT. And I could think of 3 right off the top of my head. You called War Raiders up. There's no reason why you couldn't move the Ascension right back down to NXT and give them some fucking TV time down there. They're the longest reigning, still to this day, NXT Tag Team Champions. Why? Why is that an issue? Tyler Breeze has been still, to this week, I believe it was Tuesday, called out the Velveteen Dream for a North American Championship match. Why won't you move him? Why won't you move him down there? Killian Dane is another one. I think he could be a great big man. You called Lars Sullivan up. You called Lars Sullivan up to the main roster. Why can't Killian Dane go back down there and be the monster that he was? Or go to NXT UK and have a one-on-one with Dave Mastiff over there? Now, I pitched the idea of Alexander Wolfe actually leaving WWE if he was granted his release. I don't know why they won't release him. You're not going to use him. Maybe they could find use for him in NXT UK. Maybe he's happy with that. I don't know. If he did get his release, I pitched the idea of him going over to the Impact promotion, Impact Wrestling, and teaming with Sawyer Fulton, who was an ex-Sanity member. The guy who Killian Dane replaced in Sanity. You know? Madman Sawyer, I think his name is, or something over there. Someone told me. That would be a great fit for him. Get his feet wet over there, build a brand for himself, a name over there for himself, and then come back and attack this WWE thing maybe sometime in the near future. I don't know. But either way they go to NXT, NXT UK respectively, or if you want to put them both on NXT UK and have them be a tag team over there is a great deal, or a tag team down in NXT and just rebrand them. Give them a new gimmick. I don't know. But I don't know how you could look at Killian Dane and not find anything to do with a guy that fucking athletic and a guy that size. I just don't get it. They killed him effectively anyway when they changed his outfit. He looked unique. He looked like he fit the part. Then they put him in that fucking singlet and he looked terrible. Eric Young, he's nothing but catering from this point on. Superstars in main event and that's it. You'll see him on Monday Night Raw. He'll get the jobber's entrance and he'll put some fucking top tier talent over. That's all you'll see from him. It's a shame how they got so much talent and they don't know what to do with it. Moving on, man. Speaking of Sanity, Nikki Cross. Everybody's wondering where Nikki Cross is going to end up. And I said just put her on SmackDown with everybody else. But apparently WWE might have other plans for Nikki Cross. PW Insider is reporting that Nikki Cross is currently scheduled to be on the road with Raw. Now, it wasn't announced, but it looks like Cross will be on Team Red. We'll have to wait and see what WWE does with her. I don't like her as is right now because I don't think WWE is going to appreciate the Mad Woman gimmick that Nikki Cross is. There is an idea that I pitched, and I think this would be great for Bray Wyatt. Have him come back renewed, refreshed, right? Have him go to Raw. They need heels over there. Have him come back as this supernatural character. I pitched the idea of Paige playing Sister Abigail. Because that doll that we've seen in the creepy promos was a closer resemblance of Paige. I think that would be great. Now, I pitched the idea for Paige where he could take over Paige and find that he's trying to resurrect the spirit of Sister Abigail and he needs a host. And Paige is the host and she lives the gimmick. Each day, each week, week by week by week, you slowly start to see this transformation of Paige as she stands there in the corner with Bray Wyatt. It's like almost as if she's mesmerized or in this zombified state. Week by week by week, you'll slowly start to see a transformation of Paige turning into Sister Abigail until she's full-blown in the fucking outfit, in the veil, everything, right? And with each week, Bray Wyatt's power is growing stronger and stronger and stronger. He'll literally run through everybody on the main roster until he gets the Universal Championship. He'll become this supernatural fucking being that nobody could really go out there and conquer. And I think that would be a great way to introduce him. He's got to start winning matches. You got to use him and everything that you have with that gimmick. I don't know what they're going to do with him as far as gimmick goes. Use everything that you have with that gimmick and make it unique and have fucking fun with it. I don't know why I can come up with something so simple and something that would work and be interesting. You know, it's come to a point where we need something supernatural to happen on WWE television that really suspends our fucking disbelief. You know? We need something like that. I think that would be perfect. If you don't want to use Paige, I could see Nikki Cross playing that character as well. She's not going to be associated with Sanity in any way, shape, or form, so why not use her in that gimmick? She clearly could play that role if you wanted her to. I don't know. But as far as Nikki Cross going to the Monday Night Raw brand, I don't have any faith in them using her. She'll probably be teaming with fucking Dana Brooke. But she's worth so much more than that. Remember, this is the one woman who came this close to beating Asuka on NXT television and being the one to end Asuka's undefeated streak. Come on. She is too good to be wasted away. And I think a lot of people know that. Speaking of WWE superstars, they might have figured out a tactic in requesting their release from the WWE. Figured I'd post this along with all this bullshit with this one asking for his release and that one asking for his release. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that superstars who personally asked for their releases, such as The Revival, Mike and Maria Kanellis, which, with Tony Nese now being the champion on 205 Live and Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy getting promoted, you know, Mike and Maria Kanellis could now find themselves as the top act on 205 Live. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. So maybe they're in for a major push on 205 Live. Maybe that's exactly what he needed to kind of restart his career. Maybe they'll look at him differently. Because if you see Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy being promoted, it's going to make him that much, you know, more diligent in his work ethic. And he's going to work harder to hopefully get back to the main roster. Maybe they'll look at him in a different light. You know, Mike and Maria Kanellis, Sasha Banks, clearly they were all denied their release because they outright asked, hey, I want my release. Of course, WWE was going to say no. Now, when Jack Swagger asked for his WWE release or requested his WWE release, he made it very public with an announcement. Ty Dillinger did the same thing in a lengthy statement to explain his reasons as well. While his release was reportedly not granted at the time, they let him go. Luke Harper did the same thing. He asked for his release in an open forum on social media. Therefore, if WWE superstars want a better chance of having a successful release request, it might be a good idea to ask and then discuss it openly. Dave Meltzer also said on the Wrestling Observer Live that WWE would typically be cutting people due to the size of their roster, but they don't want another situation like when Impact Wrestling released Kazuchika Okada and then ended up being one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world. One benefit to not making their release request so public might be to benefit their careers with the company. The Revival saw a push for the Raw Tag Team titles following their request release, and Mike Kanellis is starting to see some more time on 205 Live. However, it was also noted on Wrestling Observer Live this week that the company does not want bad public relations, and they don't want to hit in the public relations department by keeping someone with the company that has publicly stated that they don't want to be there. So if a stupid star, you'll be a stupid star if you stay with the company. If a superstar makes their release request public, it is much more likely to actually be granted. I like this tactic. It's not going to work all the time, but it's certainly better than going behind closed doors and asking and then being outright denied. Go on social media, say that I am done with the WWE. I am effectively asking for my release. WWE let Ty Dillinger go, right? They let Hideo Itami go. They don't find any value in Luke Harper. Let him go. They don't find any value in Alexander Wolfe. Let him go. But it's coming to a point. It's not that they don't have any value in them and that they're just going to keep them on the roster. They don't want the perception of WWE being this place where nobody wants to work. Look at all the people that are actively asking for their release. That's a lot of fucking talent and a lot of quality. The Revival, Sasha Banks, Luke Harper, Ty Dillinger, Hideo Itami. Look at all the you can fill an entire fucking, you could add to each division on AEW with all that talent. And they would be shining stars over there in Jacksonville, Florida. WWE doesn't want the perception of them, the company, not being the place, the destination to want to be. They don't want that. Also, they would rather keep you instead of you making a name for yourself in an AEW. They'd rather keep you until you are completely up with your contract, and then you could do what you want. This is why WWE, I don't know why they're not putting people down in NXT. I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with working in NXT. Sasha Banks, give it a Triple H. Make her, if she's such a problem for you, give it a Triple H. I'm sure Triple H would love it. Same thing with a Ty Dillinger or a Tyler Breeze or an Ascension or anybody that is disgruntled on the main roster. Give them to NXT. I don't understand it. All these people have one thing in common. They want to wrestle. I guarantee you, all of them would have taken a pay cut just to go to NXT because of the environment that is there and the fact that they will be allowed to wrestle. I don't get it. It's like WWE is doing it out of spite. They know they want it. They don't want to give it to you. So what are they going to do? They're going to let you go? They're not going to do that for the reasons I just cited. This is a fucked up company. I don't see the need to keep Alexander Wolfe if he doesn't want to be there. Nobody's going to tune in to television to watch Alexander fucking Wolfe or Killian Dane. Give me a break. WWE's clearly doing it out of spite. This is the best way for them to go about it. It's not going to work all the time, but it's much better than going to Vince's office, hey, old man, I'd like my release. No, you're going to say, what are you, fucking crazy? Get the fuck out of here. Titus is serving fucking mashed potatoes. Go. You're lucky you're even here. This company's fucked up, man. Really is fucked up. Finally, guys, we're going to end with this one because there really is no other news on the circuits at all. I think I covered pretty much everything here on Off the Script. I don't know if there'll be a part 3, and it's Easter Sunday, so I might not even be here for Easter Sunday. We'll just attack again on Monday. But Xavier Woods, you know him as Up, Up, Down, Down, Mr. Up, Up, Down, Down. You know him as a member of the New Day. Xavier Woods legitimately irritated with the superstar shakeup. Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer Radio how Woods' little rant on Tuesday was a shoot, and he was not very pleased with how much of the Up, Up, Down, Down cast ended up on a different brand than he was on. It looks like Woods will have to be very busy during pay-per-views when everyone is in the same building. This is interesting, but even though WWE seems to support Up, Up, Down, Down, it doesn't appear to be a huge concern for Vince McMahon. Of course it's not a big concern for Vince McMahon because all he cares about is the fucking sucking of the Roman Reigns cock. Now on SmackDown Live, he didn't give a fuck about Xavier Woods. Give me a break. You got writers leaving left and right. You got disgruntled fucking staff. Here you go. Instead of making people happy and putting one fucking guy that he wanted. All Xavier Woods wanted was Tyler Breeze. Think they did it? Of course not. Who? Breeze? Yeah, it's a breezy day outside. What are you talking to me about the weather for? Fucking ridiculous. All he wanted was Tyler Breeze. Now he's got to work on pay-per-view days, which if you get set up early and you're in the building anyway like you're supposed to be, get yourself set up, you have someone come in, Ricochet come on in, or Zelina come on in, or Rusev come on in, you know, or Andrade come on in. Doesn't matter. There's ways around it, but this is how WWE doesn't think for anything or anybody but themselves. It's disgusting. I mean, was it a big deal for them to put Tyler Breeze on SmackDown Live? It's your loss. It's your loss. You could have made him into a decent mid-card guy for the Intercontinental title, but you don't want to do it. You never even gave the guy an opportunity to fucking get up off the ground. He's not going to be a make-or-break guy. But Jesus fucking Christ, when you got a guy that talented and you're not using him, man, you are a fucking blithering fool. Unbelievable. I would be pissed too. But that goes to show you that WWE, again, is not for the performer. They're only for themselves. Clueless and for themselves. I'm getting the hell out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. This has been episode 270 of Off the Script. Go get your t-shirts, man. JD's Elite. Become one of my JD's Elite down below. Link is down below. Bonfire.com. The best-selling t-shirt in the entire YWC. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. Double or Nothing weekend. I want to be over 110,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, both on Twitter and Instagram. Harrys.com/script for your free trial. Audibletrial.com/offthescript for your 30 days free and 1 free audio book. And if you guys missed anything on the channel this week, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Off the Script Extra, Part 1, Sasha Banks, Saudi Arabia, Part 1 of Off the Script, episode 270. Everything you need is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. More than likely, I will not be back here on Sunday for Easter Sunday, so this concludes episode 270 of Off the Script. Unless something major breaks, I'll do a emergency part 3. But as of right now, I don't expect to be here on Sunday. If you guys are celebrating Easter, enjoy yourselves. I don't give a shit about Easter either way. But if you are one who celebrates, thank you so much and enjoy yourselves, man. I will see you all more than likely on Monday for another resounding edition of Monday Night Raw. We'll see if WWE can make sense of anything now that the shakeup is over, and we'll cover WWE and Attack in the next week, man. Thank you guys so very much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here for more content next week. I'll talk to you later.